Good morning. I'm Dennis Akizuki. I'll be your chairperson for this morning's service. Just a reminder, no food or drinks in the Hondo. Please turn off your cell phones or put them on silent. Thank you very much. Do we have anybody who's first-time visitor? So we'll begin this morning's service with Sambujo on page 24 in the large service book, followed by sutra chanting Juseige on page 23 in the small Dharma School service book, or page 93 in the large service book. Please rise for the singing of the Gatha, Amida Shrine on page 34 in the small Dharma School service book. Please remain standing for the Three Treasures, page 3 in the small Dharma service book.
So good and kind, Please join in reading the three treasures on page 3. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves our supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning. Please join me in Gassho. To rejoice means to be joyous after being assured of attaining what one shall attain. It is rejoicing after realizing Shinjin. To be glad means to always have joy uninterruptedly in one's heart and constantly keep in mind. It means to lead and jump, expressing boundless joy. To leap is to dance to the heavens. To jump is to dance on the earth. The person who has realized Shinjin is also likened to the white lotus flower. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Well, good morning again. Thank you for being here. Happy to see all of you here today. And I'm grateful to those of you joining us online and for those of you watching later on the recording. You know, we just had a wonderful oral boom. The attendance was at record size. The revenue was up. The weather was perfect. As Sensei says, good beer drinking weather. The familiar food booths have returned. We had over 1,600 dancers on Saturday night. Our LGBTQ outreach group, Mina no Mura, sponsored a booth that was manned by the Billy DeFrank Center and San Jose PFLAG, and they reported that they had excellent attendance and interest in the booth. So a lot of interest from the crowd. It feels like the pandemic has finally released its grip on us. Life is returning, not necessarily to normal, but to a new normal. Many things have changed. Many businesses, unfortunately, are gone. And the nature of work has changed. And how we come together has changed. Now that we're back to at least a new version of normal, I have a question for you. Are you happy? There are a lot of ways we could answer that question, or how we could measure happiness. We could look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow defined 5 levels of needs and placed them in a pyramid. At the bottom, providing the base of the structure of the pyramid, were the physiological needs, things like water, food, housing. Then there's a level defining safety and security. This included things like health, employment, property, family. Most, if not all of us, have achieved at least that level, which means we're 40% up the way of the pyramid. We should be happy, right? The next level is love and belonging. Here we find family, friends, intimacy, and a sense of connectedness to a community. If we've reached this level of are we happy yet? The 4th level up is self-esteem. This is where we see the need to be recognized as a unique individual. We gain confidence, a feeling of accomplishment, and we respect others, and we have the respect of others. You would think we could be happy here. We have a place to live, sleep, food to eat, our health. Some of us have a job, we're part of a family. We have our friends, maybe a significant other, If that's not enough, Maslow has one more level, self-actualization. This is where we see morality, creativity, acceptance. It's where we experience purpose, meaning, and inner potential. Surely now, having reached Maslow's highest level, you must be happy. Maslow is out of levels and you're at the top of the pyramid. Life is good, right? It seems to me that wherever we are, we always seem to want more. The grass is always greener on the other side, right? We get a new car, but our friend gets a newer one, bigger, faster, sexier, whatever. We just bought a new cell phone last month, but now there's one with a bigger camera, a better camera, or it folds or something. Maybe we need to raise up old Maslow and get him to add a few more levels. Would it surprise you to find that some experts on emotion and psychology have a hard time defining happiness? Brene Brown, who is a research professor and author of several books, writes, "Let me tell you what does not make me happy. The fact that there's no real consensus in the research when it comes to defining happiness." That said, she goes on to define the state of happiness as feeling pleasure, often related to the immediate environment or circumstances. And she writes further that the pursuit of happiness may actually get in the way of more meaningful experiences such as joy and gratitude. Medical doctor Rangan Chatterjee, in his book Happy Mind, Happy Life, defines core happiness as being related to a system of protections against the ups and downs in life. He relates core happiness to a three-legged stool. The three legs are contentment, that is, being at peace with your life and your decisions. Alignment, who you are, who you want to be, and who you are in life are equal. And control. Nothing within reason has the power to overwhelm you. In his view, happiness is a journey, not a goal or a destination. But the more stable your three-legged stool, the less likely you are to have it fail you. I was listening to a podcast recently, and the guest, Richard Curtis, told the story of his father. Now, Richard Curtis, for those of you who don't know, is the screenwriter responsible for movies such as Notting Hill, Love Actually, and Four Weddings and a Funeral. So it was an interesting podcast. But he talked about his father, who had a life motto of, "You can't be happier than happy." And that's actually the impetus for this talk. I really like that. He went on to say, happy is definitive state. And if you keep raising the bar, then happy ceases to be happy and it becomes discontentment. In other words, happy is binary. You either are or you're not. Richard, and so why do we need to be happier? Why isn't happy enough? We're taught, as if anyone needed to tell us this, that life is suffering. Is it conceivable at all that the absence of suffering could be defined as happiness? Then as you conquer that which causes you to suffer, you should be happy. Have you put a bad habit behind you recently? You should be happy. Have you gained a new skill to fill a void on that resume? Happy. Have you settled a long-time disagreement with someone? It should make you happy. The Roman Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's quite impossible to unite happiness with a yearning for what we don't have. Happiness has all it wants. And resembling the well-fed, there shouldn't be hunger or thirst." Author Ryan Halliday in the Daily Stoic notes, eagerly anticipating some future event, passionately imagining something you desire, looking forward to some happy scenario. As pleasurable as these activities might seem, they ruin your chances at happiness in the here and now. This is a concept we've talked about before here, living in the present. If you look forward to some potential future in which you might get something bigger, faster, more popular, then you leave today and focus on the future, which is at best uncertain. While you're trying to live in the uncertain future, you're missing out on the happiness of the here and now. While you're daydreaming of that big country house, your 3-year-old daughter or granddaughter looking up at you and trying to get your attention to show you her latest creation will never be 3 again. Savor this moment. While you fixate on that next car you want, you probably bought the last one just recently anyway, you're missing your son walking across the high school graduation stage. That will not happen again. But he may just look out at you and see you gazing off into the distance instead of looking at him. Today is a happy day. In Shin Buddhism, we try our best to help people understand that life's suffering has a cause and a remedy. Much of what causes our discontent or suffering has to do with attachments. We are attached to people or sentient beings in general, places, things. One of the problems with that attachment is our old friend impermanence. Things just don't stay the same. The new becomes old. The young become old. Places change. Things become less useful or they break. And our friends and family die. There's nothing that will stop these things from happening. It is understandable to think that getting beyond attachments to these things and places is likely to be much easier than reducing your attachment to the people in your life or to your pets. We have to see the world the way it really is. We're attached to living sentient beings around us, but if we understand the laws of impermanence, we know that they will change and eventually be lost to us. It is a sad realization, but no less true. Being attached to things and places should be a little easier to resolve. These are probably far less important to you than the living attachments you have, so it becomes a matter of priority. Prioritize the living. Prioritize the present. Sometimes what eats away at our happiness is not about people or places or things. It's about ourselves. What will happen to me? What does my future hold and for how long? Existential questions are common, and I would assume more common the older we get. As for ourselves, our future will be what we make of it as we go. There are things we can do about it to prepare for a more comfortable future, but worrying about it is not useful. As for anything beyond this life, it's Amida's primal vow that assures us that we'll be taken care of. That is, we'll go to the Pure Land. There is nothing we need to do. There is no merit to be earned, and nor there are any demerits to erase. That's why we say the Nembutsu. It is in gratitude for Amida's compassionate vow, and it is not a petitionary request asking for Buddhahood. Shinran lived in harsh times. Conflict, disease, death surrounded him for much of his 90 years. He found his happiness in the Dharma. He wrote, "How joyous I am, Gotoku Shinran, disciple of Shakyamuni. Rare is it to come upon sacred scriptures from the westward land of India and the commentaries of the masters of China and Japan, but now I have been able to encounter them. Rare is it to hear them, but I have already been able to hear. Reverently entrusting myself to the teaching, practice, and realization that are true essence of Pure Land Way, I'm especially aware of the profundity of the Tathagata's benevolence. Here I rejoice in what I have heard and extol in what I have attained." Those words are from the preface of his masterwork, the Kyogyo Shinsho. Shinran's happiness was about being able to read the Dharma and the commentaries and to hear the teachings. So he read some texts and heard some Dharma talks. That seems pretty mundane. But think for a moment about the circumstances. The teachings had to make their way from India, through China, through Japan, Korea, and then into Japan. Translations had to be done along the way, several layers of them. If not for the calamities of his family, he would never have ended up on Mount Hiei, studying the Tendai traditions. He would never have heard of Honen. He would never have left Mount Hiei to seek out Honen. But he managed to find him. This was all taking place in the late 1100s and early 1200s in a very unstable Japan. So it's rare indeed that Shinran was able to read and hear the Dharma, yet it has come to pass, and we are the benefactors of that. How happy we should be. Happiness need not be fleeting, nor is it only to be found in the future. Happiness is available now. And once you're happy, that's it. There is no happier, there's just happy. Live in the present. Keep your mind in the present. Worrying about the past is pointless. You can't change it. Worrying about the future is fruitless. You only make yourself sick with worry. Don't miss the things happening in the here and now by focusing on what could have been or what might be. Remember the teachings of impermanence. Everything changes. Nothing stays the same. Appreciate the wonder of change and watching your children grow and mature, and make time for your parents, friends, family, because we don't know what tomorrow brings. Remember Shinran's teaching of Shinjin and Amida's primal vow. We are all embraced by the compassionate vow of Amida Buddha, so there is no reason to worry about our own future. Finally, remember the teachings of interconnectedness. We're all here together. We're all connected. We're all here for each other. We are a Sangha. And in the immortal words of Bobby McFerrin, don't worry, be happy. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. I think we should all be happy. Happy that he was here today, and happy that he gave us that talk. So thank you. Please rise now for Gatha Ondokusan II on page 76 in the small Dharma School service book. This will conclude this morning's service. Are there any announcements? I have an announcement. You may have heard of our rummage sale, right? We haven't had a rummage sale for 4 years. I think the last one was in 2019. Well, it's back. It'll be back next weekend. So if you haven't been to the rummage sale, it's a quite amazing site. The gym is just full of clothes, luggage, CDs, books, jewelry, toys, dishes, anything you can think of that you have in your house. People bring them from their house and they bring it here to the church. So it's going to be next Saturday, July 29th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., as I said, in the gym. If you have things to donate, you can drop them off on this Thursday and Friday, July 27th, 28th, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. No early drop-offs will be accepted. No large furniture, TVs, appliances, or computer parts. But anything else, you can bring it on by. And like I say, it's quite a sight. If you haven't been to the rummage sale before, you should come and check it out on next Saturday. All proceeds will go to the Dharma Center fundraising campaign. Any other announcements? Again, Thank you for coming out. Let's close with Gatsho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much. Oh, and thank you to Rinban Sakamoto, to Michael Jones, who led our chanting, I think for the first time, Michael? He did a very good job. And he's, as some of you know, he is studying to become a minister. He's going to go to Japan in December. And I think after that he'll be ordained and he'll become a minister. I'm confident he'll be able to pass that. And also thanks to Sumi Tanabe and to musician Michael Yoshihara. Thank you again. Thanks for coming out to this morning's service. Please come up and do a shoko. There will be snacks in the multipurpose room, which is the building next door. So please join us for some snacks in the multipurpose room. Snacks in the multipurpose room.